Thanks for being here, guys. So today we have Jessica and Brady Sammis with ERA Advantage Realty. So you guys work as a team, right? Now, do you guys do separate listing and buyer's agents, or how do you guys operate?
So we thank you for having us. By the way, we're welcome. Super excited to be here. By the way,
it's gonna be fun.
Love to do this type of thing. So Brady and I, we really like to play off of each other's strengths.
Yep.
And I do the things that he doesn't like to do, and vice versa. So it works pretty well.
Nice.
But I would say for the most part, it seems like, I guess if you looked at percentages, I seem to deal with more buyers and Brady seems to deal with more sellers. But every listing that we have, we both go in on it.
Kind of work on it together?
Yes.
Okay.
We kind of both take different jobs, and that's kind of how we go apart.
Yeah, I mean, we both do a little bit of listings and a little bit of buyers work together. Typically, one of us takes the lead, but the other one's always in the game and knows what's going on, so we can always jump in if we need to.
Gotcha.
And we kind of just, like she said, play off each other's strengths.
Okay. Now, you guys are based in Port Charlotte, but what other areas are you kind of focused on or looking into? I mean, just, kind of wherever it takes you. But, I mean, what areas do you see as kind of being like a hotter area or beginning to become more popular?
So we work primarily at Port Charlotte, Placida, Venice, Punta Gorda.
Yeah, basically everywhere from Venice to Punta Gorda.
Yep.
Anything in between those.
But we love working very, very locally, obviously, because we know that area best. And I do think as far as growth goes, all of those areas are crazy growing.
Yeah.
I think if you look up some statistics, it'll tell you that it's one of the fastest growing places.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because I've been here for about 4 years from now. I moved from California and lived in Oklahoma City for a little while. I don't know why.
Great move, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. So, no, and I love it here, but it's kind of interesting, though, because, I've been all up and down the West Coast of Florida and really haven't gone to the East Coast that much. But you look at, Naples versus, Venice and Port Charlotte and Tampa, and these areas are all so different, the culture and just the layout of the city. But it seems like Tampa and St. Pete was really popular. Naples was kind of popular, but then it's like everyone kind of migrated to more Port Charlotte, Punta Gorda, because they were a little bit less expensive. I don't know if that's the case now, but it's becoming a little more equal. Is that kind of what you're seeing? Or?
Yes, definitely. So we talk about this all the time. I think that our core area, Port Charlotte, Placida, those areas have really been actually a little undervalued for such a long time.
Yeah.
Like you can't live that close to the water with that kind of money anywhere else.
Yeah,
So I think people are finding out about our little secret here is the thing. So
because of people like me. Well, that's exactly what happened because, coming from California when I first got here, almost 4 years ago, I was like, why is it so cheap here? Yeah, I couldn't understand it. I mean, it was ridiculous, but it was like, I don't even know the square foot of a house, but 2,000, whatever it was, 2,100 square feet was like 350,000. That same house in California would be like 800,000.
Oh yeah.
Wouldn't it be that much now here too, as opposed to 4 years ago?
Yeah, very true.
Yeah, it's definitely changing. Yeah, for sure.
But in a good way. I mean, this area is honestly a great place to live. It makes our job easier to sell it because we honestly
paradise.
There are so many great things about this area.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one thing I think that we kind of really take pride in is we moved here about 6 years ago. And that first year or two, it's a little bit different. We moved from Illinois, so we moved across the country.
Yep.
And we really like to help people get settled in and feel comfortable living here. Like that's one of our main things that we really shoot and strive for, I think, is to make people feel comfortable in their new home because a lot of people are moving from out of state,
Yeah, it's unbelievable because, being a lender, probably 90 to 95% of my clients are from out of state.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys saw this one graphic, but I'll try and find it and get it to you guys. Maybe we can kind of talk about it on one of these one time. But they actually it was like a dot of all the families that have moved to Florida over a period of, and it was kind of like a rapid progression over a period of like a year or so.
Yeah.
And what states they came from. And it was just like all these dots coming down to Florida. It was unbelievable how many people were moving here and still are. So let's talk.
Let me talk one more thing on that.
Go ahead.
I study all these things because we really get into like our YouTube channel and all that stuff.
Yep.
So this, not just here where we are, but this is an awesome thing. Florida in general, the growth that we've had, I think it was either 20 to 21 or 21 to 22. We have gained, I think it was like something like 350,000 new residents, which is the same as the town of Buffalo, New York. So we basically had Buffalo, New York move down to Florida. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's awesome,
and you can tell by the traffic has definitely grown. But the state is doing so well. That's another positive thing about it, and attractive thing is that they're constantly doing construction to improve everything. I mean, the roads, the freeways, and the fact that they built the bridge in, Sanibel within a matter of days.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing.
Hurricane
It's amazing.
Was incredible. So let's talk about, and I guess, either of you can answer this, but I guess you do more listings, Brady. So, homes that are, you listed a home for sale. So how do you determine what price to sell a house at? And also, how do you assure that the house will be priced fairly and will maximize the price of the seller, but, obviously move fairly quickly?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of different things that we put into pricing a home, location being one, how well the home's been taken care of, how well it's been updated, things like that. But typically what we do, it's kind of nice that we have two of us, right? So when we get listings, you're kind of getting like two for the price of one type of deal, because I'll go run my numbers. We look at square footage, year built, like I said, updates, different things. We can plug them into our system. We can run what similar homes have sold for recently and come up with a good range. We also have some back-end systems that kind of run some algorithms and give us some other numbers, so we can make sure that what we're putting out there is, there's some other things that we can equate them to. And then she'll run her own numbers too. So typically we come up with
represented a buyer. She can kind of do
And even if she's wanting to, find the value for the seller, maybe she comes up with a value of 450 and I come up with 430, and then we can kind of get together and see where those differences are, and we kind of really try to lock it in. But it's really important to be competitively priced. You don't want to price it too high, or you're just not going to get any action, and it's just not worth it. Yeah,
it's kind of tough with this market, given the fact that it's so volatile too. So I was kind of wondering how that plays into it. So I didn't really have this as something, to talk about, but so I'm going to throw a curveball at you. Yeah. But in this kind of market, it seems like we have people that are wanting to sell their house, but they decided not to, or if they do sell it, they still have the mindset of, I want to get this specific price for it, when those prices may no longer be there. I mean, are you guys kind of seeing that now, or?
I think a little bit we are. I think we're still kind of trying to put the pieces back together after the hurricane. So it's kind of still a little, like you said, volatile.
Yep. Trial and error.
Well, hurricane or not, yes, hurricane, that's a whole other can of worms, obviously. But side note on that, I feel like I'm amazed every day by how quickly the community has come together. Like, it's amazing. It's been an amazing thing to see. But hurricane aside, we had such a crazy market for such a while. Yeah. And I think that a lot of sellers really got to a point where they're just really unrealistic about the prices of their home. Yep. And that's unfortunate, because people just have these perspectives and then their mindsets are just way off.
It's emotional too. It's their house.
It is. Subjective. Yes.
They've been there 100%. For years.
Yeah. But I think that's a lot of why we see, reduced prices. I think that's exactly just what it is, that people just were not realistic with.
Maybe a little too greedy with their initial starting price.
Yeah, I mean, demand has definitely come off, but the fact is there's